But a lot of the growth that happens outside of lectures and exams, sometimes without us even realizing it. Have you picked up any skills outside of the classroom that has given you an edge? Any thoughts on that?
To give you an example, my communication skills, I think, continue to strengthen as I continue being part of leadership teams, not only with the team itself, but the things you do for your position. So last semester, I was
Hmm.
actually planning an event because my position on the team was actually to plan the events for the club. And to give a little bit of context, it was a panel. So I was actually inviting individuals in the Pittsburgh area, and there are professionals within the marketing field. So kind of just a wide variety. One individual is like a professional or a professor in marketing, and then another individual was like the head of a marketing firm, and then another one was from like an advertising agency. So essentially this event was this past November in 2025, and I started reaching out to them in July of 2025. So the reason for this is because you really want to kind of be aware of their time. They are full-time working professionals, and it's about their convenience, and they are, taking this extra time to come and, be a part of your event. So I started reaching out to them very early, but for two reasons. So they wouldn't forget about me in the event, but also because as event planning goes on, things might change. And as logistics get finalized, there are so many updates. So I knew I had to stay in constant communication with all of these speakers. So kind of like setting those reminders for myself and making sure I was very on top of the event really enhanced my communication skills. And I would say that continues to serve me well as I continue, whether it be in like clubs or kind of like for more professional opportunities that I might be looking for. But I definitely say for me, communication has been a really big thing through some of the experiences that I've had.
I love that example. I really love that example because the more you practice, right, something at first, you may, be a little bit hesitant about writing that email or even picking up the phone to talk to somebody who you've never met and a professional. You may feel intimidated or whatever, but taking that first step, I think is so important. And then honing it in by doing it more and more and getting more comfortable with that skill and just developing it even more. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I actually want to build off that. So one of the most important things if you're a pre-med student is you want to get a lot of patient interactions, something that they look for. And so a lot of the experiences are just like spending a lot of time and honing skills again of communication, just how to interact with people of all different backgrounds and things like that. So I used to volunteer in high school at a hospital too, and I think doing that helped me hone those skills a lot for coming here. And then that also helped with me being able to volunteer at UPMC, which is a really prestigious hospital. And I think when I was applying to be a volunteer, it helps to have that experience and have, the ability to, and just interact with people, make sure they feel comfortable and things like that. And that's also translated, into my behavioral research. Interacting with kids has also taught me a lot because interacting with kids is much different than interacting with adults. And yeah, so at least for me, I think one of the most important skills that have given me an edge is being able to communicate with all different people and
Mhm.
yeah, make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think for me, it might be like organization
Mhm.
and being efficient with your time. I think in general, I'm a more type A person and I'm very organized to begin with. But with like classes ramping up and also, I also have leadership roles and I also work. And so all that just kind of piles up. And I've had to learn to be efficient with my time and organize things in a manner so that I can get things done accordingly. And then building off of that, I think the reason why that's so important is because I also value like my downtime a lot too.
I
Yeah, I
love
think
that.
uh going back to what like Serby said in terms of like joining like clubs and stuff, I like was never really great at, public speaking and stuff. But last fall I joined one of like the consulting clubs on campus. And obviously like for consulting, like being able to speak in public, being able to present to, a group of judges or a panel or something is very, very important. And I think, getting practice in public speaking is something that really helped, like boost my confidence when talking to people and kind of make it easier to talk to not just, bigger groups of people, but also smaller groups of people.